Onorato Company on the air, on your internet. It's Chris and Ashley. Overwhelmingly controlling news of the week is, of course, Tom Brady's retirement. We're going to hit that heavy on this week's show, but we are so fired up to bring you a conversation with two dynamic SportsCenter anchors. They give great insight into how one of the shows is put together and what goes on behind the scenes, even while on the air. And they're just plain funny. Gary Striewski and Scott Ash.
Yeah, they're really funny. And we love them. We watch them a lot on the weekends. And if you don't watch them, this will give you a reason to watch them. I think they're very entertaining. And you'll see from the conversation just how much they seem to genuinely like and love working with one another, and that they're really good friends, which is nice to see.
There's big WNBA news we're going to hit on today's show as well. And, of course, we've got Follow the Pack with the Albany FireWolves. Let's go.
This is Onorato Company, brought to you by Alpin House.
All right, Ash, if you're watching us on TV, everybody, my goodness, I hope you are indoors somewhere. It is a cold weekend coming to the Capital Region, at least Friday and Saturday for sure. Roll call early. Let's just do it. We love to do that. Sam, good to see you, buddy. Jason, yes. Carol, good morning. All right. Jen says, Brady just wants some attention. Okay, let's see. You know what? I think he's done. Exactly 1 year to the day of Tom Brady's first retirement, the GOAT, the best to ever do it, gives us retirement 2.0. Here's my question, and we'll go backwards a little bit here, but because it's a Thursday morning, people have talked about it for 48 hours or so already. Are you going to miss rooting for or against Tom Brady?
Of course. I'm going to miss rooting against him because I don't root for him. But yeah, of course I'm going to miss rooting against him. He just makes everything a little more exciting. Listen, even when he had a pretty bad season this year and the Bucs were bad, it still made it exciting. Like, for them to be close to getting into the playoffs, you want to root against them.
Here's how I look at it. Not everybody wants to see the greatest player of all time win all the time.
Right.
But very few people want to see the greatest player of all time not playing.
Right.
So even if it isn't a full-on love or hate relationship with a guy like Tom Brady or LeBron James or Michael Jordan, whatever, I am going to miss him just being part of the game. Now, I'm going to be happy in 30 or 40 years to be able to say, I saw Michael Jordan in his absolute prime, and I saw Tom Brady in his absolute prime.
You saw the whole thing.
And if there's something that changes my mind in the MJ-LeBron debate, I'll be able to say I saw LeBron James in his absolute prime. Mm-hmm. I'm thankful for that. And I believe probably the same way people 40 years ago believed it with the Russells and Wilts of the world, that I don't think anybody is taking the mantle of GOAT away from Jordan / LeBron or Tom Brady. I just don't see it happening. Who's winning, Ash? 7 Super Bowl titles, more than any franchise in NFL history, and 5 Super Bowl MVPs. There's nobody who's going to do that.
No, it will never be touched. And listen, likely Jordan will never be touched, but you could see the way that you create super teams in the NBA, it's much more feasible in the NBA than it would be in the NFL. What Tom Brady did is just ridiculous. It doesn't seem to make any sense. And then he went to a new team and answered the question of well, is it Brady or is it Belichick? Well, obviously it was Brady because he went to a new team. I understand they were good, but it's not easy to go to a new team, pick up and win a Super Bowl, regardless of how good that team is.
Yeah, I agree. I think that ended the debate as well. And I do think that if Brady believed the Buccaneers were going to be good next year, he might play again.
Yeah,
I think the idea of like just starting over, even though the Niners and the Raiders may be viable options for Brady or any other free agent quarterback, to me, it was like, do I want to start over again? Right. With a locker room of guys I don't know, with maybe an offensive scheme I don't know. At 45 to be 46, guys chasing me. I've got a 10-year, $375 million contract waiting for me at Fox Sports. I love the game, but do I love it that much? And look, at some point, the answer just becomes no. I've done everything that you could possibly do in this sport. Does it really hurt to walk away? Robert Kraft with these comments this morning. Patriots tweeted this out. We will do everything in our power to bring him back and have him sign off as a Patriot. That would mean a one-day contract, not playing a game or anything like that, but a one-day contract for Brady. Do you think it'll happen?
Yes.
When do you think it'll happen?
Soon. I don't think it'll take that long. I think he understands that that was the franchise that he helped make and that helped make him. Listen, 6 of his Super Bowls came in New England. It's not that it was like, I don't think it was as bad as everyone made it out to be, like the breakup. I think he will retire a Patriot, go into the Hall of Fame as a Patriot, the whole shebang. He's not a Buccaneer. I mean, come on.
Well, no, but in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you don't have to have a logo attached to you, which is kind of nice. This one doesn't feel like such a slam dunk for me. I think there's still enough tension with him and Belichick that it may take. Wouldn't it be interesting if it took Belichick retiring for Brady to come back and sign a one-day contract?
Yeah, but he's going to be retired for too long by that point.
I know that's the thing is it's like you have to file the paperwork with the NFL at some point. I guess you don't have to. You could wait.
Yeah,
you could wait, but verbally he has given his retirement here. I hope it happens. I have grown to like Tom Brady.
Me too.
Through his social media, through the self-deprecation he shows in a lot of ways, either at press conferences or online. I've grown to like Tom Brady. I'm definitely going.
Listen, he's about to make more money in 10 years of broadcasting than he made in his entire 23-year NFL career.
All right, here's a bitter Bengals fan. Brady always be the GOAT, no one's winning them, unless it's in the script. And this is Nick feeling like his Bengals got worked a little bit by the referees in Kansas City. I think there are a lot of people who watched that game who wouldn't disagree with Nick. But at the end of the day, it's the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl, not Nick's Cincinnati Bengals. You have a problem with the way that game played out?
No, I didn't have a problem. I mean, listen, they let a lot go, and I thought it was on both sides. And I know, Nick says more like a WWE match.
Yeah.
I don't disagree, but it wasn't, I don't feel like it was as one-sided as people made it seem. Listen, you couldn't beat Patrick Mahomes was 60% of healthy, 60%, and you couldn't beat him.
Yeah. One last thing on Brady here. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Not for the greatness you gave us, but for giving us 8+ minutes in the week between Championship Sunday and the Super Bowl. Because I didn't want to talk Eagles Chiefs 2 weeks in a row. We will get to the Super Bowl matchup next week on O & Co. So thank you, Tom, for that. All right, we've got coaching moves. We've got the quarterback carousel spinning. Back right after this on Onorato Company.
Teams, athletes, organizations. We're transforming the custom apparel industry through product and purpose. Claim your crown.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
And now back to Onorato Company. Brought to you by Albany House.
Well, thanks to all of our local business partners on the show, keeping this thing going each and every single week. We went all of 2022 with a live show. It didn't matter if it was Christmas week, Thanksgiving week, vacation week. We were out of town. Every single week, we had a live show for you, and that's only made possible
That's pretty impressive. I didn't know that.
By a couple of dedicated hosts for sure, but also
no doubt
the local business partners. Still to come here on this show, Gary Striewski and Randy Scott, the boys are back in town, as they would say. ESPN SportsCenter anchors, loving each other on TikTok as well. And we're pumped to share that conversation with you all coming up in about 5 minutes or so. Yeah, very quick. Okay, let me run through some stuff here still with the NFL. The offseason, and it's getting hot. Coaches, quickly. Sean Payton to Denver, D'Amico Ryans to Houston, Jets hire Nathaniel Hackett. What sticks out for me, why is Denver a better job? Why did Sean Payton, who is the number one candidate on most teams' boards, why did he target Denver?
I don't really know, but organizationally, I think Denver just historically is a better organization. I don't think they've been very good in the last 10 years or made good decisions, but I think Sean Payton is the level of quarterback that can change a franchise, that can take a franchise from one place to, another place. The guys that they've hired, Fangio and Hackett, those guys can't do that. Sean Payton is a difference maker. He could do that for any organization, so I think that's a good fit for him. I love the D'Amico Ryans hiring. He was beloved in Houston when he was there. He's beloved in San Francisco. He's a guy that people want to play for. I think they have to nail the quarterback, though. If they don't nail the quarterback, it's going to be a disaster until they get a capable quarterback in there.
Yeah, I like Ryans to Houston, and Houston would have been my number one pick if I were Sean Payton or any other head coach out there. But it's Nick Caserio, the GM, who concerns me. Some of these moves that are being made, I don't know about that. So, maybe Payton felt like he wasn't going to have autonomy to be able to kind of do whatever he wanted. But the Texans have a second overall pick. They will get a quarterback in this draft. You hope certainly that they get it right if you're rooting for Houston. What do you want the Jets to do in free agency? And I'll leave it here with the NFL before we get to Gary and Randy. Sign a free agent like a Derek Carr, like a Jimmy Garoppolo, or go all in for Aaron Rodgers?
Well, Carr isn't a free agent, is he?
Well, he will be. They'll cut him.
Yeah. I said this, I think last week or whenever it was, we talked about it. I think I'd go with Carr just because he's younger, or a Jimmy G because he's younger. I'm not sure I'm going to go all in on an Aaron Rodgers when you're not sure if you have more than 2 years left with that guy. You know what I mean? Because it's going to take a year to get somebody in and situated and whatever. And that's why I wouldn't have gone after Tom Brady either if he was still in the mix. I think it's got to be someone who can play there for 4 or 5 years to help kind of, not that the Jets need a rebuild, because they don't, but to get them kind of going in the right direction.
Ryan thought of you last Sunday when the Bucker field goal went through the uprights and you were rooting against the Bengals, who were crying over some spilled milk, as we'll say. Okay.
Yeah, we're happy for our novice guys.
And we are. That's Bucker's a novice athlete. Ryan wants Derek Carr, younger, more durable, like you're saying, Ash. Okay.
And I'll play with
Sam is a Jets fan. He wants Jimmy G, then Carr, then Rodgers. Sam is he's a Rodgers hater, and I think part of it has to do with me. I think that might be my list as well. I think it might be Jimmy G, Carr, and then Rodgers. I'm just busting on you, Sam. All right. Quick break here. When we come back, SportsCenter anchors Randy Scott and Gary Striewski. It's a long conversation. Settle in, but it is good. It's insightful, and it's hilarious. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as Ashley and I did. Back on Onorato Company right after this.
You've heard of unsung heroes. The men and women of Nyskoba are the unseen heroes. For the past year, you've learned about our many charitable endeavors. Now it is my privilege to share with you the work performed by our members, the 20,000 state correction and law enforcement officers shielded from view. They work in difficult and dangerous conditions and are an extension of the police who protect our neighborhoods. Nyskoba honors New York's police and firefighters and salutes its own members who help deliver a peaceful night's sleep.
Get a head start on summer fun with Albany RV. It's our preseason sales event going on now. Come in today to shop America's top brands like Forest River, Coachman, Keystone, and Grand Design. Right now, get this Coachman Catalina for only $306 a month, or this Primetime Tracer for only $252 a month. Our knowledgeable outfitters are here to help you find the perfect RV for your family. Shop online anytime at alpenhouserv.com. Buy with confidence at Alpenhouse RV, your total camping outfitter.
And now back to Onorato Company. Brought to you by Alpenhouse.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Onorato Company. It's Chris and Ashley with you. Ash, there are so many great duos in the history of SportsCenter. And I know, people watch ESPN, they watch SportsCenter because they have the highlights and all that. I get it. But It has evolved way beyond that. And it happened a long time ago with Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann for me, Rich Eisen and Stuart Scott. And it has become more of an experience than just a highlight show. And our two guests this week, how fired up I am for this. We watched them early on the weekends on SportsCenter. But before we do that, I feel like I need to repent a little bit to try to be in the immediate good graces of at least one of our guests. And so let me take you back to before football season, where one of my predictions went horribly wrong with a Raiders fan who's been good to us on the show, Jason Fitz. The last time I made something of a bold prediction in terms of a team winning the division when nobody else really thought would, Sam Darnold got mono. So I don't want to put that on you and Derek.
Thank you so much for picking the Chargers to win the AFC West. That's so nice of you.
So, yes, that was me predicting the Raiders to win the AFC West this year.
And we know how that went.
And that didn't go well. And, yes, I had picked the Jets years ago to win the division after they signed Le'Veon Bell and C.J. Mosley. Let's bring our guests in here, Ash. It is Randy Scott, Raiders fan, and Gary Striewski as well. Hey, guys, how are you?
Randy's all mad now. He's sweating, clamming up.
So you did this?
It's his fault.
So you brought this evil?
I know. You know what? And it wasn't even the fact that I'm a Packers fan and I was just angry about Devontae Adams. I really thought you guys had a chance to win that division.
Yeah, I didn't. And it's only through being conditioned, years of disappointment. But I don't believe in Josh McDaniels as a head NFL football coach, and I hated being right. But listen, you go in with low expectations and you can't be disappointed. So I can't blame you.
Guys, thanks for doing the show. As I said, we love watching you guys do SportsCenter. I think what I enjoy most is something that a woman tweeted at Gary angrily about recently was the fact that you guys just look to make each other laugh at times. Now, I think that's funny. Like when I watch SNL and I'm watching Weekend Update and Che and Colin Jost can't keep it together, like that makes me laugh. When Jerry Seinfeld's in the middle of a scene with Kramer and Michael Richards and he can't keep it together, that makes me laugh.
Yeah. The funniest reply was somebody who came to our defenses and was like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know it was called Sirius Center." That made me, that made me chuckle. But thank you so much, first and foremost, for having us on and saying that, because I feel like, I don't want to speak for Randy, but I come in and I know we're writing to a show that has a national audience, but in my head, I am writing to an audience of one, and that one is the guy sitting to my left. I'm like, will this make Randy laugh?
There are times. So we kind of have I don't know about a system or just like a set of rules where if we have a 2-shot and it goes into a highlight or a piece of video, whoever has that highlight or piece of video, they do the second part of the 2-shot.
Yes.
Okay.
So the voice just carries into it. That way the director doesn't have to be absolutely surgical with their precision, his or her precision. It's just like, okay, we can just kind of roll the video and the same voice goes from one thing to the other. And so whoever writes the first part of that 2-shot, like
you're stuck with it.
You're stuck. You have to react to it. And I'll wait for him or he'll wait for me. And I cannot tell you, at least once or twice a week where he's like, hey. He goes, don't be like, don't read. Just ad lib it. Just ad lib it.
Yes.
Don't read what I wrote in the tee up.
Yes.
And then you do kind of have to react, and it's always a landmine, or it's always a joke, or it's always a tee up, or it's almost sometimes like a live no net, type of test to see if you get a reference or not.
It's a landmine.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
Take it.
What's that?
Take it. Grant, you just went reference here.
Yeah, I was going to say, so listen, I know there's a little bit of an age difference between you guys, and Chris and I have a similar age difference between us. But is there ever a time when you really swing and miss hard? Because, Randy, you're not on TikTok and you don't get something. I'm literally looking back through Gary's stuff and I see the name Alex Earl and I'm like, I don't know who that is. I'm not on TikTok. Like, do you just swing and miss?
Alex Earl is the it girl right now. Ash,
I know. I've learned.
You should definitely be knowing, the Alex Earl content is just at a premium right now.
and tell her
and when you talk about age difference, she said in that video that it was her dad's friend who said, "Hey, Alex, they just talked about you on SportsCenter," because of course she was probably still at the club, had no idea that we were on talking about her Christmas Eve or Christmas morning.
West Coast time.
West Coast, yeah.
So
even though she's in Miami,
she's in Miami, West, but the west side of Miami. So you don't know what the time
it's on the Gulf. It's on the Gulf side.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the Everglades. Reception sucks out there. So to your point, it is like it's so, man. People ask me when we first started up, they're like, "What's he like? Like, is he actually like the TikTok guy, the Snapchat guy in person?" And I was like, yes and no. Like, what you see is what you get. Energetic, creative, deferential. Like the word that you hear a lot of times. I've been here 10 years. He's been here
going on 5.
Yeah. And from day one, they're like, share the ball. Don't hog the ball. And if you are an anchor that, if you get a 25-second 2-shot and you write 20 seconds, like, you're not a lot of fun to work with because you're not leaving the person that you're working with any real estate. And so we share the ball. Like, there's no fence around highlights. There's no fence around VOs. Like, we can kind of dip in, dip out, reference one-liner. We'll, we're under video. We'll do like a hand signal, be like, I got something for this, or he's got something for that. And we'll throw it out there and then react to it. And there's so much trust involved with that because he's never going to put me in a bad spot. I'm not going to put him in a bad spot. I'm not going to ask him for a reference that he won't get. So, sorry, very long-winded way to come back to your question. Like, I think we complement each other well. Like, I'm not fluent on TikTok the way he is. I think I have like 2,000 followers. He's like 250,000.
Nice brag.
How's bragging camp going?
Strong but mighty, small and mighty.
But also, like, I'm what 5? Would you turn 35?
36. Yes. So we're only a couple years.
Some 4 years older. Yeah, some 4 years older. But like, we get the same movies. He's better on current music than I am. And I just think it complements each other well because we are not going to like put each other in a position where one of us looks stupid, even with the differences.
But fair to say, like, you both have a self-deprecating mentality that even if you didn't get it, whatever, you can laugh your way through it. And the reason I put this up here, guys, is because I have a weird memory. Ashley, who's my wife, can tell you that.
Is Ashley right here?
Yeah. Yes, me.
Oh, okay. Congratulations.
Yeah, we're married.
Don't congratulate her. Believe me, she did not choose well. Yeah. I threw the topic bar up here, guys, because I remember Gary dropping just in the middle of a highlight, like, "Hey, do you remember the time that I just didn't know the Make Me a Bicycle Clown reference?"
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And so I just thought there probably are a bunch of those where, like, you randomly drop a catchphrase or a line from a movie, or, like you said, Randy, a lyric, and the other guy's like, I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna flip you real good.
Okay, flip you just now. He didn't even get it right. I'm gonna flip you for real. And that's from The Usual Suspects.
Yes.
It's Benicio del Toro.
Correct.
And on it he goes, "Yep, never seen that movie."
Yes.
And I was
awesome. But here's the thing. I took that as a challenge and I queued it up because one of our directors, Ronnie, and one of our producers, Jesus, were like, how have you not seen this movie? I was like, all right, I'm going to go watch it. I went home, I queued it up, and within 20 minutes, I was asleep.
Which is more offensive. It takes an offensive gap in your pop culture knowledge, and it makes it worse because you were like, I'm so thoroughly bored by this.
They were in a jail cell, and I couldn't follow the flow. So to say that now I know where the reference comes from would be accurate. To say that I've seen the reference actually on display in the movie, TBD. I might get around to it. I might not.
Gary, I've never seen it.
Thank you. Ash, you and I, unity.
Okay. Unity. Okay. All right. So the one that he'll do that it took me forever to get was a song lyric.
Which one?
Okay. So in the NBA, you know, you can count on if the Warriors have a game, we probably have a highlight the next day. And he'll go, let's go out in the studio move. He'll be like, let's go out to the Bay Area. Ooh. But he'll go Bay Area.
Yes.
Ooh. And I laugh along. Like I chuckle. Like I don't laugh. I know it's not a joke, but I'm like, I'll kind of chuckle along. Like over my head.
I'll give this one to the crowd. Anybody?
No.
Area. Ooh. Okay.
And that's
E40.
E40. Okay.
Ghost Ride the Whip.
So it took
Ghost Ride the Whip,
which is not even a new song.
It's
like
not.
E40 is like mid late 90s
It's
West
not.
Coast. So it just I missed it. Like I guess my geographic boundaries of 90s West Coast rap is just LA South.
Yeah.
I guess.
Disrespect to the Bay Area.
I suppose. But it took a couple tweets where people were like, oh, I get that reference. So I knew, I was like, all right, I got to know what this is. And so it is kind of like rising tide. Like you kind of like have to get on this moving treadmill and keep up.
So now I don't know what laugh is genuine, what laugh is just a normal laugh because he doesn't get.
You do the same.
I do the same, and I do the same thing.
Yes.
And we are so good at it.
I was going to say there has to be a difference between I get it laugh and I don't get it laugh. At least there would be for me. I'd kind of be like, but I guess you get good at that too, like laughing at something you don't understand and playing it off.
So Randy, you did a brilliant intro to a Marty Smith conversation where I don't know how many Snoop Dogg references you dropped. But it was good. What singer are you most likely to dip into for some lyrics during a highlight?
Let me answer this.
Am I?
Let me answer.
Okay.
Both of you, all of them.
Yeah, both of you.
It is Taylor Swift.
Probably
For him?
Crushed it.
Probably is Taylor
Crushed
Swift
it.
for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, because like you can go Nightmare Dressed Like a Daydream.
There it is.
You can go Bad Blood. I mean, they're like things that are kind of tangential to sports. And anybody with last name Taylor, you could just kind of reference it. Like we had one in Top Plays today, where it was the woman's last name was Taylor, and Taylor Swift had her Lavender Haze video drop at midnight last night. And I was like, it's been a good 24 hours for Taylor's. And so even though that's not a lyric, it kind of goes that way. For you,
do I have one that I go to the well on?
For you, I mean, the Bay Area one's up there, but you'll do a Future. Do you ever do Future?
I'm not as well versed, you know, in the top 40 pop hits.
That's not true.
In the top 40 pop hits, although we had a heavy playlist of Nickelback today. It was guys, they don't get enough credit. They have absolute bangerangs.
Well, we were talking about bands. This was all in the studio, not on the air, which we could have gone on the air.
It should have.
We have to be careful. We can't sing. We are not allowed to sing on the air because that costs money for them.
And also in the literal application of we can't sing.
And we can't.
Yeah.
Yes. And we can't sing. So we had to, we were talking about bands that were like, you're supposed to be embarrassed about.
Correct.
But you probably have a couple on your iTelephone, and it was like Creed, Nickelback,
Three Doors Down.
Three Doors Down.
There's a real genre. There's a real theme there.
Yeah, there is like the 3-chord rock.
Yeah, take me back to my buckle jeans days.
Right, right. And I was like, maybe a chain wallet. You don't know.
Photograph.
This isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Now, you guys may not be able to sing, but it turns out you can dance.
Oh, look, the boys are back in town.
I mean, this, thanks to B for helping us out here with the TikTok videos, man. Randy, you like getting involved with these? Now, to me, this is not like, this is fun. The strange ones I find on TikTok are still effective, Gary, but when you're at the Louvre and you're eyeing the Mona Lisa, do you never feel weird about taking those videos and pictures in public?
Let me clear the air on that one. Mona Lisa was eyeing me.
Okay. I get you.
She was giving me the eye. She's an older woman. And of course,
400 years.
Only like 200 something years old. I had just turned 36, so she was like, "Hey, look at this fine glass of water, mineral water." So just wanted to set the record straight on that one. But we've kind of blown caution to the wind because now everybody is doing content at any given place, any given time.
Yep.
And quite honestly, like on a serious note, it is where we have to meet a bulk of some of the audience, right? Like the Gen Zs, the younger millennials. It's not that they're not consuming the content. They might just be consuming the content in other fashions.
Right.
So, Randy and I have a great time putting together something, whether it's a 10, 15 second, 20-second TikTok, and then putting it out on those channels where we can meet them. And then those viewers can see that and say, oh, cool. Well, let me tune in on the weekends if these guys are, pumping out this content, and then here's where we can find them on a regular basis. So it's cool. I think they serve each other pretty effectively. Yeah. One for the other.
So I have 3 kids. I have a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 5-year-old. And I read something a couple years ago as my oldest was getting older, and it was like you got to meet them where they are. You got to. So if they're playing, he's not playing Fortnite yet, but I'm sure that's coming. Like, if he's playing Roblox, if he's playing Minecraft, like, don't be afraid to set up your own account, get there, make it like normalize the fact that like, yeah, dad does this too. And that's something that you could at the very least talk about, but also like have a common interest. And what he's saying about meeting viewers, really as consumers is a better way to put it. Like meeting people where they are, like, you got to go find them, like you got to go find, the eyeballs are out there. It's just depends on what screen you're talking about. If it's on your phone or if it's on the kitchen wall while you're getting ready for school or something.
Yeah, we're old school. We're TV on the wall over the fireplace.
You got a TV in your kitchen?
Do I have one in my kitchen
Can't
now?
hide.
No,
you cannot hide money.
No, I don't.
You cannot hide money, dude.
We do not have TVs in our kitchen.
When you get ready for school, it's probably like in the kitchen. I don't know.
Yeah, some people just have that little TV, like just old school set into like the
VCR.
Oh, now who has money?
Yeah, the old school with the VCR right in it.
I have one
little
TV
white
in my
box.
house. Yes, Ashley gets it. Ashley and I.
One TV in your house.
There's one.
Yeah,
you've been there.
Well, in your house now.
Yes.
There's no TV upstairs.
No.
I'm gonna investigate.
I'm
staying at his house tonight.
It's a screen-free zone.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive for a guy who works in TV.
Yep.
Best name to say in a highlight. What's your favorite name to say on air?
Gosh, can I answer for you?
Best name for me?
Yes.
Okay.
I like when you answer for one another. It's
You
very
have
cute.
such a good nickname for Franz Wagner. So I love when he is in a
She's saying
highlight.
actual name though. Are you
either
saying
one.
nickname or name?
Name, but you can go nickname.
Only Franz?
Yeah.
That's first ballot Hall of Fame.
It's not mine though. Like
it's okay.
This feels like one I shouldn't take credit for.
You
to be perfectly honest. So
I was forced to say it.
Oh, so Franz Wagner has a bunch of them. Franz Solo, Finnish Franz the Finisher, whatever it was, but one of them is only Franz. And if you say it like that, it gets like a smirk, and then you move on. And I think we did that once on the air, and I don't know if that's gonna be like part of the regular rotation, but you have one for, let's see, hockey is so fun. Like we both have fun with Brad Marchand. Like we both worked in Boston. We worked for the before we came here, we worked for the broadcast rights holder of the Bruins. So the fact that some of those guys are still around is amazing.
We never overlapped though.
You can say Nesson. That's not against our rules here.
Oh, okay.
The New England Sports Network.
The New England Sports Network.
Yeah, that's right.
So you have stuff for Marchand.
The Big Blue Ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah, nose goes, man.
Yep, nose goes, nose face killer. Like, yeah. Which he doesn't. I don't think he minds.
I don't think so.
No,
he can't.
No.
Listen.
He hasn't emailed you to say that he minds?
Yeah, what's he gonna do? Refute it?
I was going more like Arike Agumbawale.
Oh, that's a good one.
Alo Gwebanam, like something like that you just enjoy, rolling off the tongue. Or that's
those are good if you can nail the pronunciation, but sometimes, even me being Striewski, listen, I've been on the receiving end of butchered pronunciation.
The bad ones,
so,
yeah.
I mean, there is nothing wrong with a good Clay Thompson every now and
yeah.
then. That one's not going to stumble. That one's not going to trip you up.
Well, like Bruno Caboclo.
Gosh.
Like that's because he played at Maryland, and I grew up in the DC area, so I know. But that's SVP's block, like the whole Maryland accent thing. But that's a fun name to say. So is he plays for Pokashevsky, Alexei Pokashevsky. Like some of these, like he plays for the Thunder. Like some of these are pretty fun. But you're right, there is nothing wrong with like we got Mike Davis. We are good to go.
Listen, my name is Ashley Miller. Tough to mess up.
God bless you.
I'm gonna pronounce that one 10 out of 10 times correctly. All right, we are getting no emails from the bosses on that.
No.
All right, I kind of referenced at the beginning of this segment the great duos through history, and I remember vividly watching SportsCenter before going to school, and even back to like elementary school. I would watch SportsCenter before that, and it would be Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann, and then Eisen and Stuart Scott. How do you guys remember getting hooked on SportsCenter and how it happened?
Yeah. Let me paint the picture for you. I wasn't sitting in my kitchen watching a TV. I was in the living room watching the lone TV in the Striewski household, middle class. But no, those names that you mentioned, like the old SportsCenter set where it was the brown copper background, and SportsCenter. And, you know, they can do 3 minutes on a Cincinnati Reds, Pittsburgh Pirates highlight in the middle of June. Man, those were the days, right? Like I was just too young to catch like the heyday of Dan Patrick and KO, but it's the Stuart Scotts, it's the SVPs, the Kenny Maynes, all of those guys who I ended up watching. When I first started, I met Linda Cohn, and then she moved out to LA. So I was actually, and I still kind of am in a way, like, holy smokes, those are the idols growing up. Like those are the people I watched every single morning as a 6th grade kid, knowing one day I wanted to host SportsCenter. So to be here and to be able to do it is just is a dream come true.
So I got you beat on the one TV thing. So we didn't have cable growing up. My dad wouldn't pay for it. They got cable as soon as I went to college. So I was a kid going to my friends' houses for like sleepovers or whatever it was. Like, you know, I had a bunch of friends who were super popular. But you go to a friend's house and they were like, it got to a point where it's like, don't let Randy have the remote, because I was going to go to channel 85 or 84, whatever it was.
85?
In DC, I think it was 84, 85 on the cable system.
We were 34 in Colorado.
We were 24.
Okay.
24. That's good.
It's a good number.
There's 84 more channels.
I want to say it was. Yeah. Like there were.
Your friends had the extended cable.
Right.
Listen, Costa Botstis, his family owned a tailor service, a haberdashery, some might call it. So I was one who was going there, and I would watch the same episode of SportsCenter over and over and over. Like I would watch DP and KO into Kilborn and Brett Haber. Like I'd watch that crew into each other. And just in coming up, like I remember crossing paths with Haber at a tennis tournament in Southwest Florida when I was working in Fort Myers. And then I remember having some crossing paths with Dan Patrick early on here. So he was gone.
Oh, that's cool.
I got here and he mentioned me on his radio show, and people in my life freaked out.
That's cool.
And because they'll sometimes talk about, like, you know, who could have hung with the guys and gals, you know, the Robin Robertses, the Linda Cohns of that era. And DP was like, you know, there's some creative writing out there. And like he was very magnanimous with it. And this was like 2013, 2014. And I've been down to speak at his school in Florida at his sports broadcasting school. And I have no business. But we talk about this, the imposter syndrome sometimes between us, like where we are like, hey, Badge worked at the gate today, you know, like we'll like joke around, like we're fooling them again, you know, they're still letting us get out there. So it's never felt like work. It's just never felt like work. And to be able to, and he deserves a lot of credit for that from my side of the desk, because of sharing the football, all that, like there's just no ego. There's no like, hey, this is mine, get out of here. This is mine, get out of here. Like we had something switch on the show today, and it never even materialized.
We did.
Okay. So I had Rob Ninkovich. We had the Rob Ninkovich segment.
Yeah.
And he was going to talk about how Philly could neutralize the weapons of San Francisco.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And he wanted to make it like a Top Gun themed, like put the scope, you know, on Christian McCaffrey and on George Kittle, and say this is where they have to target in and lock in, and refer to Purdy as a pilot and refer to Jalen Hurts as a pilot, and this and this. And we both have military backgrounds. Like his dad was Army, my dad was Navy. My dad was actually a Navy pilot. So like, all right, we're going to give it to Randy. And there was no second thought on his side. He wasn't like, oh, I already wrote questions, or oh, I already did this or whatever. He was just like, cool, great. They took the one that I was doing, gave it to Gary. And there are people who don't work here anymore that would have had a real problem with that, and would have been like, territorial is the word I'm looking for. It's never been that way with this one right here, with Gary right here.
I would like my box score to read after every show. 18 assists, 0 points, 6 fouls.
And
that's generally how it is. All right. Yeah. I'm just feed the monster.
No,
all right.
no.
Yo, feed the vet. Yo, feed the
Not
season.
the monster.
I'm Rui Hachimura. This is LeBron.
Ooh.
Not true.
All right. This is LeBron.
No.
I just don't want to see him,
Who is the
sulking in the seat. Like
Who's the LeBron here? Who's the LeBron at this company?
I think I'm sitting right next to him.
Is it Van Pelt?
Gotta be.
Van Pelt threat, just like
Yeah.
getting better with time.
The old head. Yeah. I mean,
Headband enthusiast.
Are we talking SportsCenter specifically?
Yeah, SportsCenter.
Okay.
Well, because
I think it's got to be
because
SVP.
yeah, he's not going anywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's SVP. And
Okay.
I'm still trying to make friends here, so I'm going to stop answering that list of people.
It's all complimentary.
Yeah.
You guys already dipped into this here. Does it get weird when Army plays Navy?
No, not really. I mean, because we're as an Army veteran's son, we just kind of have expectations that Army is a football school, as proved evident this past iteration. Navy got us in basketball, but that's fine. That's fine. Army's a football school, and there's really no debate.
No,
we'll be at Foxborough next year, though.
Yeah, we're going to go to that game.
I'll bring Sergeant Striewski. You bring.
Oh, I bring the Admiral.
You bring Admiral.
We'll bring him out. We'll bring him out. We'll see what's up.
My dad will be outranked, but we won't be outfought.
No, it's apples and oranges. No, I don't know. Maybe that is there. It doesn't get weird. There'll be some chirping on the air. We'll get a tweet or two in support. But
yeah,
I think because that rivalry isn't Bama and Auburn, it's pretty respectful. I think ours is
definitely
ours is as well.
Tell him who your dad's roommate was.
Oh, so Plebe Summer was Roger Staubach at the Naval Academy, and I'll sprinkle that in. But it just shows how old my dad is too. He's pushing 80, turns 80 this year.
Hell yeah, brother.
And he was like, Ran Man. He's like, I was 17. He's like, I think I'm gonna get you an appointment with a congressman. Maybe Chuck Robb in Virginia, and he'll get you a letter of recommendation. We'll get you the academy. And I was like, no, sir.
He went full Mox.
I was like,
I don't want your life.
I was like, bruised like a peach, sir. I don't know if that's the best idea for anybody. So I don't know if you ever had that conversation with.
My mom established it early that I would not be the second Gary Striewski to be in the Army, so she kind of already squashed that conversation before it even got a chance to happen. And I don't think my dad would have. My dad was 20-year Army, and then he retired, and then he was 20 years in the State Patrol. So if my plan A, which was this, didn't work, my plan B would have been like law enforcement, state trooper. I applied for the FBI right out of college.
What?
Yeah, they didn't accept me.
They didn't accept
something didn't pass in the background.
Bull. You just didn't have any experience.
They're like, this guy's name is Gary Striewski.
Yeah,
that's his picture. Something ain't right. Something ain't adding up. He's already lying. He's not gonna pass the background check.
In Texas, you're like, something ain't right. I don't know.
I reckon this kid's lying to me. Yeah,
I could picture though as like a cop, like a TikTok guy. Like law enforcement TikTok's a thing.
It is. Yeah.
This was so many followers.
This was in the summer of 2010. Twitter was barely around.
You're like, what do you arrest me with? And you're like, my personality. Lean in and do it. That would have been great.
Ash, what do you got? One more for them?
No, I'm good. Listen, I've just been along for the ride here. I've enjoyed every second.
Well, this is now 2 in the last 3 weeks where we've had a guest on, and we said, well, it'll be like 12 minutes, and then it's gone upwards of a half hour. It was Mandy Patinkin before you guys, and we really could have just handed the thing off to you guys and let it go. But
that's pretty good.
Mandy's awesome.
Because we are in Albany, New York, which is a political capital, I have to ask you something political. Ashley and I love to really just kind of debate things like, debt ceilings and the Electoral College.
He's got
in our free time.
And I've been to college, so I'm versed enough,
and I'm in debt. So yeah. So we got it covered. Let's figure this out.
So I will ask you, who is the greatest American president ever in Hollywood?
Oh my God, Harrison Ford.
He lost control of that plane pretty quickly. He got it back, but he lost control of that plane.
You know who went down with the plane? The threat to America. The soil.
That's a good point. That's a fair point.
I don't know. That was neat. That was neat. Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman, he didn't stop the asteroid though, right? The asteroid still hit.
Yeah, but then
that was the Hydrox to Independence Day's Oreo,
but then
right?
he
Like,
came, but
or
then
Armageddon's Oreos.
then he became Jesus though after the presidency. I mean, how do you one up the presidency? You become Jesus.
Bruce Almighty, which I believe was shot in Albany, if I'm not mistaken, or was it Buffalo? I know they're
Buffalo.
Very
Yep,
good.
Buffalo.
Okay, you can cut that, right? We're not.
Yeah,
we're not
we're-
Hold on, before Ashley,
American president
give us what's your answer?
in Hollywood.
Michael Douglas?
American president.
Where was he
What movie
president?
was that?
The American president.
But in what movie did he play the American?
Randy, the American president.
I'm being a silly goose. Okay. Was Ally McBeal in that? Who was the female? There was a female lead.
I don't know that she was really anyone, was she?
No, it is, and I can't come up with it now. This is bad on us. But Richard Dreyfuss
I'll look it up.
is the Republican running against him,
I love
and
Richard
Michael
Dreyfuss.
Douglas has to defend this woman who he's dating, and it's a great speech and scene.
I'm gonna put that one on the two.
Oh, it's a good one.
Right behind
Usual Suspects.
the usual.
Yeah.
For sure.
Now, my answer to this, I like Bill Pullman in Independence Day.
Pullman's good. Yeah,
That's really
Pullman.
good. We will not go down.
The
without
speech he
fight.
gave at the airplane hangar.
We will not go quietly.
Admiral
into the
Scott
night.
probably was there in person listening to the speech.
We're going to live on.
Yes, we
We
are.
will survive. Yes, that's a good one. Okay.
I'm back. that's classic. Classic.
All right. Does Martin Sheen count?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do Martin.
Heck
Sheen.
yeah.
West Wing.
Yep.
I think I'm still going with Harrison Ford
That's fine
because
Was it Annette Bening?
It was Annette Bening. There
Yeah.
you go.
I lied.
Well,
Not that she
that's
wasn't
important because
one.
you can't have correct answers without an incorrect answer. So if you go Harrison,
dude, Harrison Ford went down with Air Force One as any captain or commander in chief would, and also made sure the threat didn't leave the international waters. He kept our shore safe.
I don't remember the international waters part.
They literally were flying into the water.
Okay.
You remember that part, right?
Yes.
It was a sad ending.
Because the animation was so killer for the time.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? It was like
What do you mean animation?
I remember that. Yeah, the graphics were like cutting edge for 1999.
Now he's a Michigan grad in that movie. Is that right? Isn't he watching a Michigan game on Air Force One?
Well, that's probably why the plane crashed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
We got B, Michigan State
Yep,
alumni
that was for
right
B.
there. So
That
that's
was
just
for
a
B.
shout out to B.
Go
shout out
Green.
to Michigan State swimming.
Let's go Sparty.
Well, B, we told you it would be, I think, 12 minutes, I think is what I said on my email. Oh, we'll just keep them 12 minutes. You guys have been up since some ungodly hour. I know that. We so appreciate the time, guys. We love watching you, as we said. Keep killing it.
The Albany FireWolves professional indoor lacrosse team invites you to join us on Saturday, February 18th for our Box Out Cancer Night, presented by the American Cancer Society. Come witness our epic showdown with the Las Vegas Desert Dogs at 7 p.m. at the MVP Arena in Albany. Get your tickets now at albanyfirewolves.com. Join the pack.
And now back to Onorato Company. Brought to you by Alpin House.
Man, those guys are funny couple of guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as we did. Good guys.
I'm gonna unmute myself.
That was cool. Well, that was cool.
Just watched the
yeah.
whole thing back, and it was as funny as it was the first time.
I know. Let's keep things rolling here because we don't want to keep our next guest waiting. We do this each and every week on the show. Follow the pack with the Albany FireWolves, and they're back in action this weekend. You can always catch their games home or away on our sister station, My 4. Colton Watkinson's already been on the show with us once. We're bringing him back. Popular guy here. Colton, it's Chris and Ashley. Thanks for doing the show, man. How are you?
No problem. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me back on, Chris and Ashley.
So you've already had 2 buys in like 6 weeks. It's a little bizarre, but now you're going to go back to back on the road here. Does that matter at all? Not the buy thing. I'm making a joke there, but the fact that you're going to play back-to-back road games when a team isn't completely rooted in one area, does it matter that you play back-to-back on the road?
No, I mean, the travel is pretty similar for a lot of us. Not many of the guys live in markets. So whether it's a home or an away game, we're going to be traveling regardless. So you really don't think too much about that. It's just kind of next one's up, and when are we leaving? Friday afternoon or Friday evening?
Colton, coming off one, and Coach called it, I think the word he used was a stinker, because he wanted to keep it TV friendly when we were interviewing him. But coming off that game against the Riptide, do you want to play? Is that a bad time to have a bye when you just kind of want to get back out there and like make things right? Or do you enjoy the week off and think maybe it helps you get right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit twofold. I think it can go either way. Sometimes it's nice, like you said, getting back out there, getting back on the horse after it kicked you off, and coming to work the next weekend. But in the same sense, it is nice to have that little bit of a break, time off, kind of reflect on, I guess, the first part of the season, even though our buys were stacked up. We're going to be going, I think, 13 weeks after this straight. But sometimes it's nice just to clear the head and kind of forget about that one. It, like Coach said, it was a stinker for sure. Wasn't a lot of heart in that game, it didn't seem like. So it's good to forget about those ones and be ready for Philly this week.
All right, so 2-3 at 2-4, Philadelphia. This is going to be a game that both teams in the East probably feel like they need, or at least very much want. What does the matchup with Philadelphia look like for you guys?
I mean, Philly's a good team. I don't think at this point in the season records really do either one of us justice. So, I mean, they have a really dynamic offense. We're going to have to keep them on their toes and really push them around the floor and kind of be our athletic selves and make them run away from us. And then in terms of, goaltending, Dougie's always going to be there. And then our offense just needs to do what they've been doing all year and work the ball around quickly and make some plays. So we're definitely not overlooking Philadelphia. They're going to put up a big challenge, just like every team in this league. It's one of those kind of any given Sunday leagues where there's so much talent league wide that, like you saw a couple weeks ago, if you don't come to correct a play, it's gonna bite you. So we're definitely not overlooking them and excited to get back out there and excited for the challenge.
Colton, an assist in 5 games along with 5 goals. And we always see you oftentimes coming out of the gate, like coming out of the door there and getting out in transition. That's where we see a lot of your goals. Against a goalie like Blaze Reardon, who our viewers will know from Albany, who is also a dynamic goalie. He's an athletic guy. How much do you try to exploit that and maybe get the 2-on-1s or the 1-on-1s in terms of you against the goalie? Because obviously it's easier to score that way against a good goalie than it would be 5-on-5.
So Blaze actually plays offense in box, which is crazy to me that he does both. So he's actually one of their goal scorers.
You know what? I didn't know that.
But Zach Higgins, he's a really good goalie. I've played with him and against him, obviously, throughout the years. And I mean, he's a tough goalie to beat. He's playing on his game, and the defense is keeping shots where he wants them. He's a really hard guy to get the ball past. So any chance that I can get out in transition or Jackson Nishimura or any one of our guys, it's just the one-on-one with the goalie is a little bit easier to score. So we definitely love to see transition goals, and it's kind of one of their things that our team's built around. So we're looking to do that again on Saturday.
And now you get Blaze teamed up with Joe Rez. Is there any added anything in something like that where you get to go against Joe?
You know, I know a few of us, I think, have been texting Joe throughout the week, just kind of trying to razz him a little bit, trying to get him off his game. So, it's going to be fun. Joe is a great guy, great teammate. It's tough losing him. But, he's on the other side of the floor now. So I don't think there's going to be anything held back. I think he wants to win. We want to win. So, again, I think I'm going to be chasing around the field as much as I can.
I don't know if there's time for cheesesteaks, but maybe that's something you guys would be interested in as a team if you get to Philly early enough. You can't eat one of those before a game, though, Ash. Could you imagine?
No.
Maybe I don't know if I could do one of those. I don't know if I could do one of those Friday night. I think I got to put something better in my body. Coach Clark might have something to say. So I know Brett Manning. He lives in Philadelphia. He's trying to arrange a spot for the guys to go and get some nice Italian food, a lot of carbs, and some protein for the night before the game. So we'll see what B has in store for the guys.
Maybe cheesesteaks.
Maybe after the game. After the game, that could be a good meal. Yeah.
When you do a show at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday, we inconvenience you guys a little bit. So we appreciate the time, Colton. We'll let you run, man. Thanks for hanging out with us again, and go get them in Philly.
Yeah, good luck.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you guys having me on again. Have a great day.
You too.
Colton Watkinson from the Albany FireWolves here on Onorato and Company. All right, Ash, some hoops before we say goodbye for this week.
And now, dirty, difficult, and done. Presented by Performance Industrial.
Bill Miller and his great team at Performance Industrial, where there's no job too dirty, too difficult for him to get it done. And they do so much in the community that you don't even understand. It's a family-run business, a woman-owned business. Bill is near the top of it all, and we appreciate his support here with his wife, Karen, on the show. Okay, you're up, Ash.
Yeah, listen, I love this story, and I think it says a lot that this was one of the top stories going yesterday. Obviously, Tom Brady trumped things for Breanna Stewart, but Breanna Stewart was the biggest free agent on the market in the WNBA. It's maybe the biggest free agent signing or free agent move in the history of the WNBA. You get a former MVP leaving Seattle, where she won 2 titles. She won a league MVP and coming home, which is cool in a lot of ways. She's coming back to New York, biggest market in the country, and she's created this big 3 for the New York Liberty. And that will rival the big 3 that Las Vegas has created with the Aces. But you join Sabrina Ionescu and Jonquel Jones. You add Breanna Stewart to the mix, and I think people are excited about the WNBA in New York, and they should be. She's going to try to go win their first title, and that's what she said. And I love the video because all of it was like Stu York. So she changed everything to Stu York, which was awesome.
That's cool. All right. He says he's all in on it. Planning to hit his first WNBA game this season. I'm with you. It's great for the sport, and I love that Breanna Stewart was upfront about it. Hey, I want to go play in the biggest market. Great.
Yep.
Great. Okay. I'm sticking with hoops, and I'm calling it now. So save this, and if they somehow miss the postseason, bring it back as the curse of it all. The Sacramento Kings' historic NBA long playoff drought is over. 17 years this team has missed the postseason. They are going this year. They're 3rd in the Western Conference. Okay. They lead their division. They're 8 games over 500. They just beat the Spurs. I know the Spurs aren't any good, but I don't care. I'm just saying. This is it. Finally, the playoff drought in Sacramento is over. And in my mind, my tiny little brain, I will remember it as Kevin Huerter lifting the curse. Yes, Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk is playing really well off the bench, and Keegan Murray. This is, I love this. And I will say it before the All-Star break, the drought is over. They're going to the playoffs.
Good. You should text Kev right now and tell him that you've just made this declaration so that he can blame you, like Randy did and like Jason Fitz did. He can blame you if it doesn't happen.
I know. There's no way.
Light
now.
the beam, baby.
You can't lose it now.
No.
You cannot lose it now. Thanks for hanging out, everybody, and watching Onorato and Company. We dive in both feet to the Super Bowl next week. Yes. Come back and hang out with us for that. Hope you enjoyed the conversation with Randy Scott and Gary Striewski. Thank you to those guys for giving us so much time this week on O & Co.